Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today I'm going to be doing a video ranking the brand new Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker Funko Pops. This is for what I would consider to be the second wave of the Pops, because we've gotten the first wave now, and now they're teasing the next wave of Pops, and these ones are definitely very dark side themed, and I think that's really cool because that's one of my favorite parts of Star Wars, of course. It has always been the Empire, and I think that this is just very exciting here. So in traditional fashion on this channel, I'm going to be ranking all of the Pops, giving each one a score out of 5. Then at the end, it will be out of a score of 80, which we will translate over to a percentage mark. And then I will be letting you know my wants for the list and then giving you my final verdict on the wave. So let's get straight into it here. There are 16 Pops that are revealed, so let's get started with number 16. Okay, so at number 16, we have Dio and BB-8 in a 2-pack here. This will be a Books A Million exclusive, and this is a pretty cool 2-pack here. I can totally see why they paired these two together, because of course, you have both of the main sort of droids here for this film, and I think they both look really great. They're just both of the common versions of them, nothing sort of exclusive about them, other than the fact that they're thrown in a box together, so that's why this one is right at the bottom here, and I'm only going to be giving it a 1.5 out of 5. I don't have too much to say about this one, so let's move on to number 15. Alright, so at number 15 here, we have another 2-pack. It will be Kylo Ren and Rey. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive, and it's sort of the same deal with the first one here. I don't really care too much when they throw two common characters in a 2-pack here, or a 3-pack, or a 4-pack. It just doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care about that. I'd rather get them both in individual boxes. So this one does not appeal to me one bit. I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 14. Alright, so at number 14, now we have the Knight of Ren. This is the Blaster Rifle Knight, and these guys don't really have any names, so they're basically named off of the weapons that they're holding. Now, this one's going to be an EB Games exclusive, which is pretty cool. It's exciting that we're sort of getting the Knights of Ren now. I just feel like their designs are very basic. They're really plain. I get it that they're not going to be super detailed, but it would have been nice to just make them look a little bit more unique. I don't know, that's not really an issue, I suppose. They're more just kind of like stormtroopers, basically, but a bit cooler, in some people's opinions, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of people who really enjoy these, but they're just not for me. I think they're very plain and basic, and unless they're super cool in the movie or are given more character, then I'm just not going to have any interest in them. So at first glance, this one's going to only get a 2.5 out of 5. I think that it's an alright pop, it passes, but it's nothing amazing. Now let's move on to number 13. Okay, so at number 13, we have a Knight of Ren. This is the War Club version, which will be a Hot Topic exclusive. And I know you see this one and you're probably like, it kind of looks pretty similar to the first one, and yeah, that's kind of a running theme with these Knights of Ren, is that they all look very similar. But don't get me wrong, I think that's kind of the theme that they're going for. They're not supposed to, their designs are supposed to be kind of inferior to Kylo Ren, because he's, of course, their leader, so it kind of makes sense that they're a little bit more inferior to him. But this one is an alright one. I like the sculpting on all of these, really, and I think that their weapons do look pretty cool, but for this one, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 12. Alright, so at number 12, we have another Knight of Ren. This one is the arm cannon, and it is the Walmart exclusive. This one's pretty cool. I do like how the weapon is actually now kind of fused to their body, which is really nice. Now, the head sculpt on this one is pretty basic, but I think that their overall uniform comes together looking pretty cool. These ones kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for me because one of my favorite colors is black, and I just really like the toned down coloring here. So I do kind of like that aspect of them. I'd say that's the best part of them. But this one's still going to only earn a 2.5 out of 5 because I just don't think it's anything that amazing in my opinion. But now let's move on to number 11. Alright, now we're at number 11 here, and this one is another Knight of Ren, of course. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot here, and it's probably because I am, but this one is the Heavy Blade version. This is an FYE exclusive, and I put this one higher above the others because I feel like the Heavy Blade looks really cool, and I like how he has an extra sort of blade tucked away, and I think that the head on this one looks very unique, almost like a samurai sort of outfit going on, so I think this one's a bit more unique, and I realize going through this, a lot of these are earning very low scores, but just understand, it's just my personal opinion. I still think they're perfectly fine Funko Pops, and I'm sure they'll sell fairly well. But just for me personally, they just don't really stand out. So for this one, it's going to earn a 2.5 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 10. Okay, so now at number 10 here, coincidentally, we have a 10-inch pop, and it is Kylo Ren. Now, this one's really cool because it's going to be glow-in-the-dark as well, which is really nice. I'm assuming the lightsaber will be the part that glows, and I think that's a very cool feature here. Now, this one, I can promise you it's not going to get a 2.5 out of 5, but I'll reveal the grade at the end here. But just to comment on it a little bit and give you some background on me, I'm not a huge fan of the 10-inch pop, so you might be wondering, wow, this is like really cool. It's awesome to get a giant version of Kylo Ren, but for me, I've never really fallen for that sort of what I call a sort of gimmick of the 10-inch ones. I think that they're cool and all, but it's just not for me. So this one's a little bit lower on the list, but it does make it into the top 10 here, and this one will earn a 3 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 9. Alrighty, now we're at number 9 here, and we have C-3PO with red eyes. Now, this one will be metallic, which I think a few of the C-3PO pops are. It makes sense, but I'm glad that they're doing that as the common version. They're not just making that some sort of exclusive, and I do think it's cool that we're getting him with the red eyes here. I've just never been a huge fan of the design of C-3PO in Funko Pop form. I think it looks kind of weird around the eyes. I always feel like it looks very indented, and I know that kind of goes with his design in the films, but just overall it's always come off as weird to me, and I just think C-3PO is not a huge standout here, but I still think he is really cool, so that's why he earns a number 9 spot here, and this one will get a 3.5 out of 5. Now let's move on to number 8. Okay, so at number 8 here we have another Knight of Ren, but this one is holding a scythe, and it's actually a hematite chrome. Now, yes, that's actually what it's called, and don't ask me because I don't know what hematite means. I'm assuming it's just whatever this sort of coloring is done on this one, or whatever sort of chrome it is. But what's really interesting about these ones is that they're actually commons, and it's kind of funny because you would think these would be the exclusives, and then the more basic ones with the matte sort of coloring would just be the commons, but it's actually the opposite way around here, and I think that this one looks really cool. I think it's a fine looking Knight of Ren, and I feel like it has a pretty cool design. I've put most of the chrome ones here above the regular ones because I just think that they look a little bit cooler and just pop a little bit more, so that's why this one earns its spot at number 8, and I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Now let's move on to number 7. Alrighty, now we're at number 7, where it's going to be the Knight of Ren, the War Club version. This is another chrome one, and I think this one looks really great. I love the look of the helmet here, with kind of the bottom half of it not looking to be the same chrome, almost a little bit like your normal sort of chrome, like almost like on a chrome Batman, and I think that that's really great. I like the rest of it as well. I think that these chromes definitely make the outfits pop a little bit more, and this one's going to be earning a 3.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 6. Okay, now we're at number 6, and this one is the Heavy Blade Knight of Ren, and it's another chrome one, of course. And I'm not going to talk about each of these too much because I feel like it's just me repeating the same points here, but I think that this one looks pretty cool, same points as I had for the normal version of it, or I suppose the exclusive version of it, and it's just that I really like how the blade looks there, and I think the samurai sort of look is very nice as well, and this one's going to earn itself a 4 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 5. So at number 5 here we have the Arm Cannon Knight of Ren, and this one's really nice as well. It's the chrome version, of course, and I like all of these sort of indents that they've done on a lot of their outfits and sort of the scrapes and everything. I think that's very cool because it makes them look very battle-torn, so I think that's really nice as well, and it adds to sort of the chrome of it because it's kind of like a battle damage chrome, like you've almost left this pop out to like rust, and it just came out looking really cool. So I do like the design of this one, so I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 4. Okay, so at number 4 we have another Knight of Ren. This one is the blaster rifle, which is in chrome, of course, and I just like the the pose that it's in here. I think that it looks very cool, and just overall the outfit looks really great. There's a lot of layers to this one, which is nice. I like the visor, the sort of one eye going on there, which is really great, and just overall this one comes out on top here for at least the chrome ones, or most of them at least, and this one's going to earn itself a 4 out of 5. Now let's move on to number 3. So at number 3 here, we have the number 1 chrome pop here. The other two in the list are not chrome ones. Don't worry, I know you're probably like, this guy's just going over a lot of Knights of Ren, and that's the thing with this video, is that it's a lot of rankings for those ones. But this one's actually interesting because it doesn't have an exclusive version, it only has this one, and I think that this one looks really fantastic. It's the Long Axe version, and it just looks amazing. I really love how big the weapon is here. It looks very intimidating, and just the mask here looks really creepy. It almost looks like it has a sort of, like, I don't know, like fabric around his head and just coming over the sides, and then those eyes, they're just staring into your soul because there's just nothing, and almost like it's a sort of scorpion design. I don't know, that's what I'm taking away from it, but I think it just looks really amazing. The bottom half looks great as well. This is probably the only one that I would maybe consider picking up, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's not one that I would guarantee on my want list, but this one's going to earn itself a 4.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 2. So for number 2, we have Kylo Ren. Now this one is very special because it is an electronic version with lights and sounds, and the box on this one as well is amazing. I love the silver and the black. It looks fantastic. Very sleek looking box, and I love the glow on the pop here. I think that's going to look really great in person, and I'm not sure what sounds he's going to make. I'm not sure if there will be any dialogue or if it will be more so probably just the lightsaber igniting and stuff like that. So I think it's still a very cool looking pop. I really love this one. I think the design of the Kylo Ren pop for this wave is just amazing. This is the same as the common, but of course just with those added electronic features, but I still think he looks fantastic, and this one's going to earn a 5 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 1. Alright, so at number 1, if you already knew all the pops in this wave, you're probably waiting for this one, and it is Darkside Rey. Now this one is a really fantastic looking pop. I love how Rey looks here in this dark cloak. She looks very intimidating, and especially kind of the shadowing going on both sides of her face. I think that's very scary, around her eyes as well, and the dual-sided lightsaber is so amazing. Just a fantastic design there. Her pose is very calm, but she also looks like she could just totally kick someone's butt here. So it's just overall a really cool looking dark side version of Rey here. It's very nice to be able to know that we're getting that in pop form. I'm sure eventually we might get some sort of other version of it, maybe in a movie moment, or maybe in who knows, maybe a 10-inch version. You never know, nothing's really off the table here, but for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 5, and now let's move on to my want list. Okay, so for my want list, this one's going to be pretty quick here because, let's be honest, from this wave, it's a lot of what basically feels like the same pop, which are the Knights of Ren. So for this wave, there's only 2 pops that I want, and those are going to include the electronic Kylo Ren and the dark side Rey. I think that both of these look really fantastic. I think they'll be awesome additions to my collection, and it's really nice that both of them are just commons. I'm pretty sure the electronic Kylo Ren will cost a bit more, maybe about $20 or maybe even $25 because I'm in Canada, but nonetheless I'm going to still try to get it, and the dark side Rey just looks fantastic as well, as I said. And now let's move on to my final verdict. Okay, so my final verdict for the wave is a pretty good one here. It earned an alright score. Out of 80, it got a 53.5, and that translates over to a 67%, which is a pretty good score for this wave, considering the Knights of Ren were kind of bogging down this wave, especially the exclusive versions, which I just really found to be very simple. The chrome ones are a little bit cooler in my opinion, but overall I feel like this wave of pops are still pretty cool. I really love the dark side Rey, and I really like the inclusion of the electronic Kylo Ren, because I know we're also getting an electronic Darth Vader, so it'll be very nice to put both of those together. I think that's a very cool thing that you'll be able to do, and just overall this wave was really well done. Very excited for it. So let me know your thoughts on the wave. Let me know your rankings down below. I'm really curious if we had any similar rankings, or if you don't want to let me know your entire ranking, because I know it's a lot of work. Just let me know your favorite pop from the wave. I'm really curious to hear, and let me know your opinions on the Knights of Ren, and if I'm just crazy for thinking that they look pretty plain. But I hope you all enjoyed the video nonetheless. Be sure to leave it a like and also subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your support, and I will talk to you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.